Yes, that's right, infidels, y'all. Hacker Hameen, hackerhameen.podbean.com, iTunes, Hacker Hameen, soon to be on Google Play Music, soon to be on Spotify. We're on Stitcher. Don't be a bitcher, infidels. It's twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman channel, and we're going with a secret transmission. That's right, infidels. Stevie Cool, Hacker Hameen with your Friday locker room, and it's only Thursday, morons. So that's right, it's been classified. I don't know who gave you the classified information, but you're here at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman for the early recording of the Friday Locker Room, y'all. Because 10 years ago, I used to listen to wrestlers go talk about the way they rock the mic, not disco. I liked how shit was going down. Dreamt about ripping the mic with my own sound. So I tried to write rhymes, something like them. My boy said, that ain't you, Hameen. That shit sounds like him. So I sat back, thought up a new track, didn't fantasize, kicked the pure facts. And that's right, infidels, we're kicking the pure facts on the Friday veteran edition of the Locker Room. Veteran edition of the Locker Room, and infidels. So hear me now. Yeah, I think so. I got two into my rhyme right there. But y'all, you're here, we're here, and let's do this thing. Stevie Cool, how's it going, man?
Everything. I was worried about you there for a second, but everything is great. I think we're one of these weeks we're God willing we're not going to, but we're gonna stroke out from watching all this wrestling. It's our body's defense mechanism.
I know, man. Just too much to break down and be able to ingest all that and have a reaction to it as well at this point. I mean, I don't even know how much reaction I have except
not as much as Jeff had to us talking about his hand. His reaction was much more.
He didn't want to hear anything about it, man. And I just posted my Throwback Thursday from 2006 where people showing up to the shows with the rag head and calling me Sand Monkey and all this other shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm there to get a reaction. That's what it's for. Maybe she's supposed to be a monster heel. So it's just this crazy PC world we live in, and the pendulum's going to swing back. I just watched Jacob Israel's video on the whole thing this morning while I was doing some work for our brand. And it was pretty good, man. But I think he's kind of in a fearful place too, and not that he was really against what she did. He doesn't obviously put it over, but it's things like that she does that feeds the fire for them to shut down channels of free speech, no matter how offensive it may be. And that's the real danger, I think, that he was pushing that way. So, and he talks about the China social media score and all that kind of stuff and things like this. If you're posting that stuff where people can upvote you, downvote you, boy, that can, in the court of public opinion, which really shouldn't mean fuck all at the end of the day, that can start to really affect your lives, as we've seen.
It's a very odd thing that a place like China that has everything pretty much locked down internet-wise. Am I wrong? There's so many firewalls, you can't access anything.
And every site that's like, what we would go to here has a duplicate, some different name, but it's got far more restriction on it.
I just don't know, why the social media even exists in China, and if it does, the people have to know. Now here's my question: if you don't sign up for a social media account, if you're one of those people that, like we hope to be, flip phones and no social media, no nothing, what happens? Are you fined? Is it something like health insurance here where you can get fined for not having it?
Yeah.
Or is it something that's a criminal? It's very odd. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's a portion of the people that don't want to do that. And how are you going to, and then you have a social media score that's non-existent. Are you even more of a pariah?
Yeah, I think that's the thing of if you don't have that social media score, you won't be able to, if you do need to go on the grid for something, it's going to be that much harder to do that. But I think the main reason why they want that, and they have you say, why do they have social media? It's because we give up so much information, and that's what they want more than anything. It's not where it used to be, Crow says, if it was a punchable in the face offense, if you would know what library books I was taking out back in 1982 or whatever. And now we give up information so willingly, so free and everything, that our Facebook is pretty much our FBI, CIA dossier at this point. Chat room's filling up. Appreciate you guys joining us on this declassified edition Thursday, early Friday locker room, or vetter room as some may call it. But somebody says, what do we think of Samantha Bee on Full Frontal on TBS calling Ivanka Trump a cunt on her TV show? Yeah, I think more people need to get called cunts. I don't really care that it's like Ivanka or what have you. Like, I need to go to bat for anybody. But, you know, is there going to be repercussions for that? Same as Bill Maher comparing Trump to an orangutan multiple times, you know, and that video's now circulating Facebook and everybody's timeline. So even the Nancy Browns are going to see it, or what's his name from late night? Jimmy Kimmel doing blackface Karl Malone stuff and not apologizing, or him, you know, comparing Trump to an ape, but, you know, Roseanne does it to somewhat African-American woman. I don't know what percentage she is. She's not, I'm darker than she is, but, you know, it's just, that just swings a whole different way of how dare you still. So double and triple standards that exist out there for the snowflakes and social justice warriors to be able to light their own hair on fire and run around the fucking room screaming, how did this happen? So it'll be interesting, but to me, they're all stupid cunts pretty much at the end of the day.
You know, they put out there a lot of ammunition for them to have the rocks thrown back at them because they're living in a glass house.
Mm-hmm.
But the way this world works right now, you can't even. It's really, it feels like a reverse situation of Nazi Germany.
Oh, it's
where
based
the
on
people that are supposedly the caring individuals or the liberals, and dude, I hate these. When Papadon said last night, left, right, liberal, conservative, it doesn't fucking matter. It's once again you're putting yourself into a gang, Democrat, Republican, whatever. Why can't people just be people? And if you have one opinion about something, like there's some things I have a very, you know, liberal opinion about, and I wish that that could be added into the world, and, you know, compassion for people, stuff like that. But then there's other ways I have conservative views. But in today's world, it's like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. You're confusing us. This is too complicated.
And I say,
need to put a label on you.
Don't fucking tell me what I can do. Is I'll $5 face slap the shit out of you.
Oh.
Not you.
I'll $5 fucking punch people in the face.
It's about time. That's what I'm saying.
So
C-Bomb's got to get laid down.
After last night, I had the pitchfork and the torch. I was ready to
crazy.
go out.
Like you know, I'm glad, what was it, 2 or 3 days before then we were going to talk about that Franken scandal. Like, I didn't really even know anything about it. I'm not going to say like, oh yeah, bro, I know all conspiracies. Sal serves us up on a silver platter. He's like, I mean, you're going to get hot. I'm just telling you right now. And boy, did I, bro. So, you know, and that stuff's still going on. If only 3 or 4 people went to jail, trust me, an entire pedophile snuff film ring is not just going underground, be like, oh, we're done, I guess they got them. They just, you know, transition into some other insane form. So definitely something we're going to keep an eye on.
Isn't it funny that we talk about this stuff that really matters in the world, and then we go to
wrestling?
You know, yeah, we go to wrestling. We're on the Horsemen. We talk about silly wrestling, and everybody's like, oh, this is kind of light show. And then, oh, here's a big notebook full of fucking arrows pointing all the pedophiles. And you're like, oh shit, what the fuck did I step into?
Yeah. Is that us messing up how we should be running our shows? I'm not sure, you know, but that's what we do, man. There's no script here. There's you know, I got the only run sheet is I go to prowrestling.com, bring up the links, and we talk about what's hot, because, you know, the guys on Wednesday's show absolutely killed it again. Billy Ray, Strangler Steve, and Bello doing great work. Bello doing great things on the NXT, and I heard NXT was super hot last night too. And you know, like these guys that are our producers, Jargo and Vickery, Connor OK, Fabe, I got to mention them all. You know, like everyone just putting in quality work, and it's really pushing our platform. Every day I get messages for new Twitch subscribers, new Podbean subscribers, and we're pushing it out to new channels, like I said, Spotify, Google Play Music, where people are asking where maybe we should have had it done before, but we're just trying to keep elevating, keep going, and not think that we're over, because the second you do that shit, then you know, you're playing to yourself, you're gassing yourself up, and that's not what we want to do here. But Stevie and I, this is what we like to talk about. You guys are here at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman, probably watching this live, or if it's Friday, listening to it at hackerhameen.podbean.com. And we appreciate that, you know, we know that these two worlds, not that they're tied in, wrestling and conspiracy, but chances are if you're a wrestling fanatic listening to these types of shows, you're online a lot, and there's no way you're going to be able to escape the conspiracy and politics side. Big Ray likes to talk it too on the Impact Attack. Hopefully we're not covering 2 or 3 things at the same time over, but we all have similar and sometimes different opinions and different points of view, so appreciate you guys sticking with us. But now let's get to some pro wrestling news, unless there's any other high-level shit you want to talk about.
See, we got to check it off. So we talked about Roseanne.
Yep.
We talked about pedophiles.
Yep.
We talked about the world's going to shit, that nobody's allowed to think, that we're living in an Orwellian society.
We definitely are.
And it's V for Vendetta time.
Mm-hmm.
And now let's talk about Finn Balor's abs.
I think so. Someone, Abe Patch saying, shit, Stevie, your MK Ultra, bro, where's the green screen of protection? They want to know.
The green screen of protection goes up for the protection of my wife's identity. But I'm sure Sal's going to post a picture of herself.
I was going to say, everything you hold dear and
expose every secret in the Manor household.
He was on last night. I know he felt bad about that, but that was just.
I love it. I think it's funny.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good ammo from now on to rib on Sal. And Sal did a brilliant job last night quarterbacking. It was kind of nice for me to just like, hey man, this was your thing, and I appreciate it, and let me back you up, dude. And he was sending us pictures of the notes that he had. I was like, dude, this guy's going literally all in right here. Hashtag all been all in, and he kicked ass last night.
Very nice. I was my MK Ultra, by the way, because Amazon has permanently banned me from reviewing products.
Oh, really?
They say I violated the community guidelines.
Somebody asked me if we can get our shirts on Amazon today, and I was like, well, the thing with pro wrestling tees is as nice as we're just kind of selling our pseudo celebrity, because we don't have to have any overstock or any stock to hold. We just sell and we get our percentage. So I didn't know if Amazon, if there's any way to do that where we sell 4 pro wrestling tees through Amazon. I just don't know if that's a possibility.
Nah, for the extra, if somebody orders the wrong size, if somebody wants to do a return,
right.
let Ryan and them handle it. They have the infrastructure. There you go. There.
Oh, you want to be on the show? The new dog of war is here. That's the Gracie girl right there. So, hoist Gracie.
Congratulations.
Thank you. She's heavy. She's a lot heavier than the other 2 are. Yeah, it's easier just to let Pro Wrestling Tees handle that. And right now, if you're listening on Friday, starting at noon today, you get 25% off if you buy 5 products. And that's not even full price shirts. I mean, he's got a lot of shirts on sale for $4.99, overstocks and things like that. So you buy 5 things, 25% off, and 2 new Conspiracy Horseman shirts are out at ProWrestlingTees.com/BenHameen and at /Stevie Richards. So the new graphic that Mr. Mosier, the tattoo artist from Louisville, Kentucky, super appreciative, had made for us. Awesome shirt. Can't wait I'm going to put my order in just so I can save actually tomorrow to restock now. So awesome shirt, and appreciate you guys. Everyone loved it, seemed to love it. So I hope we get some sales on that.
Cool. We did. He ordered one. We should have just gave him. We got to take care of that guy.
Yeah, we got to take care of him. For some reason, you're coming in muddy all of a sudden. It's not you. It's Skype. So
I'll let you talk for a little bit.
Yeah, see if it cleans up. So let's see here. We'll get to the first news. Maybe not if everything freezes up here. There we go. So here's one real quick, because we usually cover mainly WWE news, and Impact deserves their shine as well, because the last couple Impacts have been pretty decent. It's kind of tough when they go to some indies or they show some old footage. People are like, well, why are they showing the old stuff? But let's see here. So top 5 reasons are, number 1 is one you need to watch is Brian Cage. People are pretty pumped. So tonight is Impact Under Pressure, 2-hour television. I am having a stroke. Television special, Impact Under Pressure, featuring a huge World Championship rematch, a casket match between 2 of the best women's wrestlers in the world, and a knockout legend takes on a 3rd-generation wrestling royalty and Brian Cage. So it's definitely going to be a cool casket match tonight between Allie and Su Yung, because Allie kind of flipped and became the dark, side of Allie, which kind of pops me because knowing her, she was an emo punk kid kind of growing up. So the beautiful Allie that you know with Pepper Parks, or as Nora's Cherry Bomb, whatever you know her as, this is kind of a throwback to her old side. So I'm pumped for her. Brian Cage is a badass. I'm definitely always a big fan of Taya Valkyrie. Absolutely, she puts on a great match along those lines. And I'm not sure what third generation is she fighting. It can't be Gail Kim, is it? I can't remember who came down and messed with her last time. But it'll be a hot show, I think, tonight for Impact, and they're going into Slammiversary. They've been doing really great vignettes. I like what they've done with LAX since Conan kind of got taken out of the picture, having them on the losing streak, and what else is going on? Oh, the Grado's back. They're doing really good stuff with Congo Kong. And there's kind of a whodunit angle where people are getting taken out backstage. Last week we saw Jimmy Jacobs end up with like this X button that they just keep putting on him. So kind of cool there. So they have ongoing storyline that way. And then the hot business between Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan. So it's pretty cool. And there's really good stuff with I almost called them 205 Live, but the X Division guys, they're high flyers. They've got some great ones, Desmond Xavier, and right now, who's the tag champs? Carolina Caveman. No, he's not it. It's DJ Z and
the DJ guy and the other guy, right?
Yeah.
Andrew Edwards.
Andrew Everett. Yeah, they did some.
Andrew Edwards.
Eddie Edwards, Andrew Edwards. And just doing a lot of different flavors right now, and then you never know what Scott Steiner's going to say on the mic. So always interesting that way, man. But tune in to Impact, and then tune in on Saturday morning and hear the Impact Attack with me and Big Ray. Looking forward to the Impact show and maybe even helping out a little bit. I was thinking about trying to go to the June 2nd show, talk to my buddy Kamikaze Kid, a.k.a. Paradise, who does the direction on all those incredible vignettes and a lot of that editing. But they're in Windsor, Ontario, the 1st and 2nd. That's kind of above Detroit, and I'm booked the 2nd back here. There just would have been no way to make that happen driving. So maybe for Slammiversary, we'll see. I'd like to get on and help out. Maybe they're back up in Toronto. In the chat room here, someone says, women's casket match, has that ever been done before? I don't think it has, to my knowledge,
with girls?
Yeah.
No, they did like all the other gimmick matches. They haven't done. I don't think they've done the X match with the girls because I don't think there was enough girls in the company to do it. No, I don't even think they do casket matches that much because they literally, even in this case, it looked like a really cheap casket. They can't afford a really nice looking coffin. The last time they did it before that was Sting and Abyss.
Yeah.
The last rites match, which everybody puts that down. It wasn't all that bad.
No, I think there's been far worse ones in WWE. I did kind of pop
last week.
I did kind of pop though, like when they put her in the casket, she put her in backwards, like where your shoulders should go. She put her legs, and somebody's like just yelled from the crowd, "You put her in upside down!" Like that popped me. I love.
Maybe she was ping ponging.
Yeah, it could be. Could be ping-ponging. Chat room blowing up with wanting to know about conspiracy stuff. You infidels, this is wrestling. This is the Veteran Locker Room Friday. But somebody want to know if we discussed the Christopher Dorner situation, and have we heard of Richard D. Hall from richplanted.net. He talks about UFOs.
Oh, he's awesome, man. He had a lot of people. He had Judy Wood on about the directed energy, the theory on 9/11. Yeah, the Rich Planet guy is really, really good, and he speaks a lot. I don't know about Mal, but he was speaking a lot over in Britain, against a lot of things. He was kind of like a more unknown version of David Icke, but he had a talk show with a big green screen, kind of looked like The Tonight Show.
Okay.
Really good setup. Good guy.
Cool. I'll definitely check it out.
I don't know if he's a good guy.
Yeah, on camera he is anyway.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan reveals this headline kind of pissed me off. I haven't really read it. Daniel Bryan reveals who legit punched him in the face during the greatest Royal Rumble match. WWE star Daniel Bryan recently spoke with Inside the Ropes, which you can now watch in full video player above. During the interview, Bryan revealed that Titus O'Neil legit punched Bryan when he entered the ring after his epic entrance botch at the greatest Royal Rumble. So this is what happened, explained Bryan to CageSideSeats.com for the transcript. I was in the ring, and keep in mind I've been in the ring for a long time. I didn't know anything had happened. Titus slides in the ring and punches me in the face like really hard. He's got those big, huge hands, and it's like, boom. I was like, whoa, what happened? I was enraged, and I was going to kick him in the face. And then I glanced up to see the Tron, and they played it like 12 times in a row of him tripping and falling and sliding into the ring. I'm like, you know what? I understand. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to leave him be. Laughs. I get it too, but I hate this kind of stuff where it's like he punched me for real. Everything you're supposed to be doing in there is for real, right? Like it's all phony, but now he punched me for real. I mean, do we need to do that? And I get why Titus would have been frustrated and not to take it out on Daniel Bryan, but just his timing was off and his head wasn't where it should have been. But that for real for fake thing to stooge that off, especially if you're at a Daniel Bryan level, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I kind of exposed the business too when I told Nunio to stop breaking my arm in the ring when we were tagging up.
True.
Please stop hurting me, and he disagreed that he thought he was being light. Well, let me ask you this: I just saw a really good piece on Luke Harper. You probably saw it already.
Yep.
So it was great. It was very, talking about how much he loves Rochester, went back to Upstate Pro in the school, talked about his background. He was crying at the end. But with his gimmick and with his character, that's something the company should never let him do at this point.
No,
it's not the right time to expose him as a human being with kids. And, I mean, he basically just lifted up the veil on any kid that sees that and sees him on TV and says, well, he's just playing a character.
I agree. A big fan of the guy. Worked my first shows at 2CW were his last.
No, I didn't blame him. Let me cut you off real quick.
No.
I didn't blame him. The company should not allow these guys to be put in those situations.
I totally agree with you, especially the crying part at the end. Like, this guy's Bludgeon Brothers, and now we're seeing him drop tears because he's reminiscent of his dad and whatnot. I like these pieces, but there's some guys that might have been better served beforehand, unless they're going to spin him out into a babyface soon, and that's the plan, which I don't give them that much credit to be, we're going to do X, Y, and Z, and we're going to get him over here. Although we did discuss before that they have kind of cooled off on the tag team division of them pushing anybody, and you saw that. Usos were on top with all that Instagram bullshit. That's gone. Bludgeon Brothers might get a 30-second promo to interrupt somebody else. They're really not putting any stock in the tag division right now, so maybe they will spin him out. I think the guy, knowing him and knowing how he can work is a definite main eventer. Just unbelievable size and can get over with that crazy look and can do things other guys his size can't do. But might have not been the right time. It was cool, though, to see. I mean, and I'll be working at Upstate Pro Wrestling on June 9th and 10th at the Flower City Comic-Con. So, it should be a good time, man. But he loves Rochester. He puts over the guys that he came up with. It was good to see Cheech in the ring there with him. I was surprised Colin Delaney wasn't in there because he's a big part of his past, but to see the promoter Mike Rosario, aka Hellcat, and referee Darren in there, guys I work with all the time, I was glad those guys got some shine there, man. And to put over Upstate Pro, that's a group of guys who he's trying, and Hellcat tries to, without having to bring in name talent every time, make his own talent. You know what I mean? We've got Captain Nick Ando and Colin Delaney and Maddock and those guys putting on great matches, but they brought up a lot of rookies to start getting in the ring, and guys who are getting more ring time than a lot of like 2-year, greenhorns get. So if you train for 3 months, I guess maybe
we can all hope to be trained that thoroughly.
Yeah. Somebody keeps asking me if we discussed the Chris Dorner situation. I don't believe we have. Something we need to look into.
I know the name, but I have to brush up on that. I'm not really, dude. It's so many. There's so many things. It was Abe Pash. He sends us a lot of stuff on Instagram.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. But man, we don't ignore stuff. It's just we just try to find out whatever we can do. Whatever we got to keep up with the current stuff, while not ignoring the past. It's a really, really tricky tightrope to walk.
It is, man. We appreciate all that you tag us in on Instagram with those and the conspiracy sites. And Larry Enger sends us a bunch of stuff, and everybody. And we're not trying to, like Stevie said, not give you what you want, but believe me, our days are filled from the moment we get up and the moment we lay down. Like you guys saw us do Horseman last night. I was up till 1 a.m. editing, back at it this morning working on Hameen brand. And Stevie, great enough to give up his time to come and do the locker room now so we can get it out, because tomorrow he's on the road to go to the ECW arena to work for Wildcat. So you guys are in the house tomorrow. Definitely go check it out if you're in Philly. And
it's Saturday.
Don't go Saturday. Tomorrow. Don't go tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow if it airs on Locker Room Friday.
All right. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so Saturday, I think Big Sal's going to come down and hang out too. So definitely check ECW Arena out in Philly, Wildcat, man. Absolutely going to be an awesome show.
I actually thought possibly if me and Sal have the time to even do a 5 or 10 minute thing about a conspiracy in Philadelphia and put it up on video. I mean, it's all like, when you're going back to your hometown and you haven't been there in years or a year. I mean, it's going to be a year.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't been back there, so I have to kind of catch up. I'm going to do an Instagram live. I used to do a Facebook live like last year. I went to my grade school where I was, saw people I grew up with, stuff like that. Some still hanging on the same street corner drinking. That was kind of sad. That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, some people are going to grow, some people aren't, man. That's just how it is. But, yeah, I'd like to see you guys do something there, man. Get some test footage and just something fun, some additional footage of the Horsemen together. Fox offering WWE another show with the new TV deal. WWE announces UK title tournament bracketology special as well. As noted, the Hollywood Reporter published a new article today revealing new details on the WWE Fox deal, reportedly worth over $1 billion over 5 years. In addition to the deal, which will see SmackDown move to Friday nights on Fox, it looks like WWE might also be getting a studio show on Fox Sports 1. Below is an article excerpt. The elder Murdoch insists NBCU was embarrassed by your product, Foxy said, would embrace WWE with SmackDown promos airing across sports programming every night of the week, along with a weekly studio show on Fox Sports 1. I don't know why they need to go into business there and blast NBC and be like, but Fox loves you, kind of backhanded, I guess.
Well, they were burying the show, right? Saying the show was, I was really confused by that.
Yeah, like it wasn't Fox burying that. Like they said that NBC, it leaked out that they were embarrassed by SmackDown or by WWE product, but Fox is proud to have it. The way it was written in the first sheets when it came out the other day was kind of weird.
Yeah, I think NBC is right. I mean, come on, man. I mean, how can did they let that deal go way? You know what they might have done too? The NBC probably turned around and maybe they were bidding as a bluff, if they even bid,
right,
to try to get Fox to pay more than it was worth. So that way they don't have the budget for as many shows. This is a conspiracy theory, but you imagine like sports teams do it all the time.
Sure.
Pump up a player, then you have to spend in the salary cap, and then you basically can't afford really many other players that are any good.
Right.
So maybe they were thinking, well, they can pay $1 billion for this. We save $1 billion, but we can also invest in other shows to try to get back on top.
Sure.
Maybe bring Gotham, please.
Yeah, dude, if they cancel that show needs to go on. It's crazy. So
no, it's definitely canceled. They're only doing 13 episodes in season 5.
Yeah, but I think
even coming till 2019.
But I think that Netflix, rabid audience for something of those comic books could get it over to Netflix if they make their voices heard.
Or YouTube Red.
Yeah.
That and Cobra Kai would be worth the money alone.
It would be.
So I hate to keep cutting you off. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I wouldn't pay for either. I just steal it through dwatchseries.to anyway. This is some news made me happy here. WWE reportedly signs top ROH Women of Honor star. Main event matches advertised for Extreme Rules. Not that second part, just the first part. According to Squared Circle Sirens, WWE has signed 23-year-old Dianna Perazzo, who was a standout in the ROH Women of Honor division. From 2014 to 2017, Perazzo appeared at WWE in various forms, including appearances as Rosebud for Adam Rose, and she competed on NXT several times. Perazzo also worked dark matches in the inaugural Mae Young Classic last year. Yeah, she was an alternate on there. She's worked Bayley. She's worked pretty much everybody. I'm a huge Dianna Perazzo fan. Worked together a couple times, not in the same match, but on shows together. She's trained by Damian Adams, who is a Rip Rogers guy through and through, and I watch him. He's kind of specializing in training women. Karen Q is another one that he's trained, and he's got two more that he's working with. Excuse me. But he trains them, in my opinion, how a Beth Phoenix and ODB, a Serena Deeb was trained, where you work with anybody. It's not like you work like a man. You don't work like a diva and do all this. That stuff's easier to do. Or Mickie James, you go in there in that OVW style. That's what she's got. And you might have seen her roll around, like on the indies. She kind of got over wearing the Rip Rogers shirt, the Hustler shirt. And that was kind of her thing for a while. This week, I think she's headed off to Japan before she goes to NXT, which I heard later in July. I've kind of been sitting on this for a couple weeks because I don't want to stooge off my inside sources because I don't break news around here. I knew she was going, and she asked for a release from ROH, from Women of Honor. And, I'm glad she got in with the ROH Women of Honor thing. But in my opinion, Dianna should have been signed right after the Mae Young Classic when she was an alternate on that. I love to watch her work. She's got great skills. 23 years old. She got her whole career ahead of her, and I think she's going to be a big star, man.
I agree. I just don't know. They got so many girls, dude.
Yeah.
They got so many girls, and they're like we just talked about the Riot Squad. We talk about them and joke about them, but they had them all over TV beating Charlotte, doing that, or not beating her, but at first they did about 10 jobs before she went over on Charlotte. So
right.
It didn't even mean anything. And now, let's talk about another example. How fast they fall. Fucking Iconics.
Yeah, already. But that's what I'm saying. Iconics, what they do versus what Dianna can do are two different schools altogether, in my opinion, man.
Yeah, but she doesn't have something that they recently got.
Yet, right? They might make her jump through the hoop and say you got to get the fake gimmicks or what have you. But Dianna's super attractive enough, but I think I'd like to see her be that Mickie James technician, how Serena can wrestle, you know what I mean? Like, when you see her on NXT, she doesn't need to hit the ground running of let's have a basic headlock takeover match, which is fine, but she can get out there and go right now and make somebody who is pretty green in NXT protect them and look good at 23 years old. That's going to put people's antenna up on their radar. They're going to see that. And I wouldn't doubt if somebody like a Bayley or a Charlotte's bring her on the road. I want to work with her.
We'll see.
we will see. But either way, congrats to Dianna Perazzo. Proud of you, a hustler girl all the way around.
Yeah, in all seriousness, it's a big deal. And just a little bit of advice, not that she listens to this or anything we do, but if she happens to, just work as hard as you can and eliminate any excuse they can have not to push you. Because then at the end of the day, hey, I did everything I can do. It's just a matter of subjective thought towards me or opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Get in the best shape you can, work the best matches you can, dress professionally, act professionally, keep your mouth shut, and just, do everything you can to be a professional.
I think that's what she's getting to, because Damian Adams has probably drilled that into her head, a bunch of times in coming up, because you're going to get that OVW mentality of all those things you just mentioned. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it. No, I don't want to see these kids make the same mistakes I made or sell for them too much. And it's a complete mind fuck if you let it, man. There's a lot of times, looking back on it is like, yeah, I played right into their little game. But when you're in the middle of it, in the heat of the moment or stuff like that, you can't step back from yourself and say, oh, I'm being tested. And
Right.
every second you're there, you're being tested, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I think she was supposed to be on All In too, so that might be all out for her by that time. So maybe they're trying to snap people up to take them off that show too. If they grab Chelsea Green by that time, that'd be interesting as well. Who I think she should absolutely be signed too. Her work and impact as Laurel Van Ness was just some of the best character work I've seen in years, and super young and attractive as well. And Zack Ryder's chick, so it's kind of weird that she's not already. This one, NXT General Manager William Regal reportedly dealing with health issue. As noted last week, WWE announced the Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels will be appearing at the UK title events taking place at Royal Albert Hall in London, England on the 19th and 20th. HBK will be appearing at those events in place of NXT GM William Regal, who's been dealing with a health issue dating back before WrestleMania 34, reports the Observer. Regal was heavily involved in last year's UK tournament as he appeared on camera numerous times, most notably to discuss the launch of the tournament, deal with Pete Dunne's heel turn during the main event, and to present the winning Tyler Bate with his new UK title. As seen on NXT as of late, there's been talk of Regal as it pertains to announcing matches, and on one episode of the show actually featured Velveteen Dream and Ricochet going to Regal's office, but Regal was never shown on camera as he has not been present at NXT TV tapings. No word at this time as to what kind of health issues Regal is dealing with, nor is it known when he might be returning to TV. Yeah, man, a guy that, ultimate respect for. Been in the business, so long and could work so many styles. I remember when I was a super mark how much I couldn't stand him in WCW for some reason, but then I just like something switched in my mind, and then he's so tight with Rip too that get a lot of that style from him and go back and watch things and watch how brilliant some of his stuff was, man. But you got any legend stories with William Regal from your career, man, that you'd like to share?
I've worked him a bunch of times, not in WWE, but previous between WCW and WWE. No, nothing. I mean, he has a very good reputation, a great reputation, I should say. I put him in the category of Fit Finlay. I put him in the category of Robbie Brookside, and Robbie Brookside, someone I think that helped him along. Yeah, because he was you talking about a guy who used to do the carnival fights at 15 years old. Imagine being 15, taking a 15-year-old today, one of those snowflakes, and throwing them. You got to fight for your food. Right. And that's pretty much where this guy came from, and always wanted to help out. I mean, it's another example too of you never know who you're going to help. He helped a young guy out named Terror Rising, Paul Levesque, back in the day in WCW. Same thing with Terry Taylor, and those two guys are now prominent figures in the NXT system. So that just for workers out there that think you can step on people to get to the top, you never know who is going to be where 5, 10, 15 years from now.
Absolutely, man. So
William Regal should take my advice.
Yeah. But I want to, definitely say we hope William Regal, everything works out with something he's been dealing with before WrestleMania. I don't know if it's something internal or, like an actual like shoulder or something injury or something along those lines. But either way, I hope he gets well and gets back to where he wants to be soon, because he's had that rise and fall through addiction and all that kind of stuff to come back and be such a huge part of NXT and be able to pass on infinite amount of knowledge. Definitely would like to see him back in that spot where he belongs. But you guys in the UK are going to get to see HBK, and I know he's kind of enjoying himself down there from what I've heard in NXT, being able to teach the advanced class and whatnot. And like, dude, I mean, what a treat. I hope those people in NXT aren't like taking that for granted, that like, you don't want to mark out, but you don't want to act starstruck. But at the same time, you should be looking around the room going, holy fuck, my teacher is Shawn Michaels right now. Like there's something to be said for the honor of that happening. So, yeah, and
there's actually there was a day where Shawn wouldn't help you. So I'm not saying that he has a reputation for being a guy that would not be so generous with his time or knowledge. So yeah, take it for what it's worth with this version of Shawn Michaels.
Sure. Yep. Absolutely. Somebody Wrestling Ragnar says it's time to make a change.org to petition to get Stevie to be the new NXT GM. I will gladly sign that one. No doubt about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't hold your breath on that one.
Let's see here. Batista lands new movie role. Producer lauds the actor as well-rounded. Former WWE champ Dave Batista is set to play a role of Mac Delgado, a professional bounty hunter, tough enough to be called body bagger in the new movie Dogtown. The report notes the movie is based on the comic book series Body Bags and will be written by Kyle Ward from John Wick 2 and produced by Hive Mind's Jason Brown, and Sean Daniel will be produced alongside Bold Films' Mike Litvak, Gary Michael Walters, David Litvak, and John Oakes. Okay. Batista will also serve as an executive producer on the film, so that's nice, right? Starting to get that, I can throw my weight around after Guardians of the Galaxy and get that executive producer credit, which everybody wants, you know. On landing Batista for the movie role, Gary Michael Walters had the following to say: Dave has quickly become very appealing as an action star. He's huge, muscled, and can easily sell the action, Walters said, but he has delivered in comedy with Marvel films and shown that his emotional range in Blade Runner. He's a well-rounded actor, and we need that because the heart is the key, and he has that soulful quality, and the U.S. distributors love him. So yeah, pretty cool there, man, for Batista, really getting to, you don't want to say following the Rock's model, because I don't know if it's that or not, but he's doing his own thing and carving out his own niche. Absolutely, man.
Well, I would dare say that Dave has a more bright future. Not that financially it's going to be more than what the Rock's making on every single movie, but he can do Comic Cons for the next 40 years.
Yeah. Just
because he tracks from Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, there's a guy who stuck his tongue on the pole on Christmas Story doing Comic Cons, making thousands of dollars a week. So I think Batista, and this is a guy, man, for all the crossover appeal, and we talked about it before, I think here, as well as Russo's, they could have had him at WrestleMania with Ronda Rousey right before the Avengers came out.
Yeah.
Or right around the time, right?
I bet they're kicking themselves, dude.
April 6th was WrestleMania or something like that. April 27th was Infinity War. What are you talking about? And they didn't do it. Oh, my God.
Is that how disconnected? I mean, he said that Triple H didn't call him back. I can't believe the game's that disconnected. Or is that just Vince going, we're not going to use him. You're going in. You're going to do it. Yeah,
but they used to be tight. I would figure that Hunter would tell him.
Right.
Maybe there's some kind of heat between him and Hunter, and he doesn't realize it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. You think Hunter seeing, Rock and Batista now that he doesn't have the itch to be like, I should be in fucking Hollywood. I'm going, dude. He tried to do that, whatever day off, WWE films was, but I don't know. It seems like he'd want that spot too.
Yeah, I mean, WWE Films has the one movie, I think, and it's not The Marine, not one of those 6. Is that Bruce Lee one? When's that coming out?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
And I hope to God there's no wrestlers in it.
Yeah, I don't know. Will they put Kenta or anybody in there? Maybe. Tozawa, possibly.
I didn't even know he was still with the company. Sorry.
They fought on 205 Live last week, I think.
Oh, thank God.
But I haven't watched it. The Chaperone, that was the name of that movie with Triple H. Thank you. Chat room. Let's see here. Sorry, come on, page load.
Talking about page, like GM page?
Yeah, just web page, not actual page taking loads. Speculation on the future of 205 Live. BuzzFeed celeb has, some John Cena manscaping video. Let's see here. As noted, despite rumors that Fox might be moving NXT or WWE 205 Live to Fox Sports 1 when the new deal with WWE begins, there are currently no plans for either show to air on television. As of now, 205 Live airs on the network immediately following SmackDown on Tuesday nights, and with the news emerging yesterday that SmackDown will remain a live show when it moves to Friday nights on Fox, the future of 205 Live has been in question. Meltzer speculated, who cares because he's a moron, that it would make most sense for 205 Live to move to Friday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern when SmackDown was to Fox, keeping the show attached to SmackDown as the Blue Brand's follow-up on the network. Should 205 Live get clipped? Should it move to Friday, Stevie? I don't know. I could see it, let's say Friday night in your Buffalo Wild Wings or whatever, right? People are out there and on one of the 95 fucking thousand TVs that they got going on. Hey, there's 205 Live, and somebody might be seeing it and seeing some Fast and Furious action, so it's not Kurt Angle getting berated by Stephanie or something like that with the storyline. It's just action. Might be not a bad spot for them to move later Friday night.
I have a more interesting thing that we can explore here, kind of like not really a master shoot theater, a master speculation theater, because that's what Meltzer and all these guys do. He charges $11 a month. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, to speculate.
I wouldn't even steal his shit, even if I could.
And I'm not saying like I don't have the cleanest opening when I'm talking back and forth. You're more of a professional, well-rounded. I sort of have 15 thoughts that have to cram up to the front, and then they clean out one at a time.
All right.
So Meltzer sounds about the same way, but this speculation, it's like we can just sit here and go, yeah, I mean, I suppose Fox would pay WWE $1 billion because it's run by reptilians. But I'm just speculating.
Yeah, just possibly.
I mean, you could say anything. I could literally say that, well, you know, a source close to me, a high-level source, as Alex Jones would say,
right,
said that before the show, everybody took naps. And that's why the show has been awful, because they took a nap at 2 o'clock instead of 3 o'clock. Sounds like bullshit, but it's no fucking different than what they're saying.
Yeah, it is. And we usually say allegedly, but I think we should start saying we speculate, you know, because that can let us off the hook too. Speculate
earns us an extra $11 a month.
Yeah, that's it. We'll go speculating for gold in New Mexico looking for aliens.
Nice.
Let's see here. Backstage news on when Io Shirai, I'm not sure. It could be starting with WWE and her stardom departure plan. A lot of people, I mean, I don't know this girl, man. But people are saying she's the best female wrestler in the world. She's in Japan, so I could beat her. As noted, Stardom star and Japanese standout Shirai has announced she'll be finishing up with Stardom in the coming weeks and is expected. She has signed a deal with WWE. Stardom has announced Shirai's final match with the promotion will be on June 17th at Korakuen Hall. According to the Observer, Shirai is expected to compete in a match on June 10th in Shinkiba in Tokyo, and when she will compete in a series of 1-minute matches and face everyone on the Stardom roster. Ooh, I don't know if I like that. The bout will lead to her final match, which is currently planned to be at Shirai and Mayu Iwatani versus Kagetsu and Hazuki. Okay.
Oh, getting you on this, aren't they?
Yeah, they're trying their best. I just want some sushi now. But you know, 1-minute matches, doesn't that kind of stooge off like the biz of like, oh, you're facing the whole roster, let's let her beat, and then the last person she faces will beat her, you know, just armbar, leg lock, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like those things kind of like have a one and done classic to go out with somebody that you really want to work with. You don't gotta fluff the whole roster just to do that on the way out, so they can get, because here's what they're doing, they're gonna get those, what they want is small clips so they can get it for their highlight reel at the end of the year for their DVDs of you versus this person. It really doesn't have any bearing on what's going to be a good match.
They did that in a gauntlet match on Monday. You knew like the first leg of it was going to just go super quick.
Yep. And I was just like, wow, no comebacks for some people, and just blowing through people left and right. I don't like that kind of stuff. Let's see here. WWE Raw nearly makes history with this week's low rating. As reported in this week, Raw drew the lowest audience of 2018 so far, averaging a 2.49 million viewers on Memorial Day. In addition to the show drawing the lowest number so far in 2018, this week's Raw also drew the second lowest amount of views in the history of Monday Night Raw. According to Observer, only September 26, 2016 edition of Monday Night Raw, which went up against the presidential debate in Monday Night Football, has drawn lower in show history, averaging 2.478 million viewers. So really only, what is that, 200,000 difference pretty much? pretty interesting, man. $1 million properties drawn lowest ever. I mean, were they up against NBA Finals and Memorial Day? Those are about the two things, but I don't think that equates to presidential debate and football. So, and I thought some spots on Raw were halfway decent this week, but they burned their audience so much it doesn't matter.
Yeah, this week's rating is a reflection of past week's content. How they're leading up to it, they had the chance with the Raw 25 to do that reset and say after Raw, if they had any kind of forethought, and they're not even booking reactively, because if they were booking reactively, you'd see a lot of shit hot-shotted right now.
Right.
Next week you would see they already advertised Monday Night Raw next week. There's nobody like showing up, and there's just matches. But if they looked at Raw 25 objectively before it happened, they probably would have said, we're probably going to get our highest rating in a long time. If any time, this is going to be the time. So from now until WrestleMania, we need to book everything strong.
Yeah.
Because then that'll carry us through the next 4 months or whatever till SummerSlam. And then we just need to keep booking strong for the next WrestleMania, because we're coming to a stadium again. We need to make a match by wrestling. You know, all these things that they did in the past. You know, remember they had Cena and The Rock with a 1-year build. People thought that was insane, but at least they dip in and out with it throughout the year, and you had some history. Now, man, it's just like, I don't know. Like, what are they saying right now? And Road Dogg, I'm sure there's not going to be a tweet about it being the highest rated segment.
Right.
I'm waiting, but because
it would be the highest rated segment on the lowest rated show of the year, so you can spin it how you want to. Oh, dude, this did the highest rating of, and we did a 1.9. Well, dude, that was when it was a 1.9. Other stuff did a 1.6, but they're not putting over that a 1.9 is a terrible rating for them. So they can spin it how they want. I think the new thing is, how bad can we be if Fox gave us $1 billion, maybe more, to have another show? I look forward to the Master Shoot Theater with your reoccurring character, the drunk Fox exec.
Walter, is that the guy's name you call him? Walter,
yes. Walter the Funk. Yeah, that's good improv right there. No details.
Show. I'm going to fuck.
205 Live.
I just pissed myself.
From the chat room, Ben, have you ever been contacted by WWE for work? If not, would you consider it if they did, or would you be afraid they would misuse you?
I'm going to speculate on this one.
Yeah. Contacted. I mean, I went after them. 2008, I had a 2-day interview at Stanford, met with the head writers, and then, not much came with it. Freddie Prinze Jr. got a job that next week, and I don't know, for some reason I think I've been on the blacklist ever since, because I'm pretty outspoken in how I feel as a creative. It's something I've probably applied, 40, 50 times through the website in the last 9 years. And we'll see, man. I think that they're obviously listening to a lot that I say. I've got plenty of contacts inside, but I'm never one of those guys like, hey, get me in, do this for me, pull this string for me. I do things on my own merit. And would they ever use the Ben Hameen character? Absolutely not. Just too hot for TV. Doesn't mean I can't play 1,000 other characters and be reinvented. Absolutely. But I'm going to have to hit that Stevie Richards fitness double hard and the treadmill even harder before I get on TV and drop another 30 pounds. So, but yeah, man, are they contacting me? Let me check the phone real quick here. No. So nobody's contacted me yet today from WWE. Did you like that one, Stevie?
I loved it. I didn't. I was just going to do another Meltzer speculation that I don't think they're going to call any of us after. And by the way, for people that don't think that they listen to at least the Russo show,
yeah,
we've confirmed that there are stooges that are out there listening to podcasts, trying to figure out what they're saying, and that's part of the problem actually. When they have too much of a sounding board, I think that was where the product turned around, when they started listening to the vocal minority that's always going to watch.
Yeah.
Well, or has to watch like we do.
Yeah, no, I agree. But they do have 3 or 4 stooges. Their job is to listen to podcasts and, check the indie sheets and all that shit. Somebody says, I love you guys improving Vince McMahon. Well, thank you. Somebody says, Ben Hameen could do a sister skit. Possibly. The beard's there. It'd be funny with a wig. And then somebody else says, I think Ben Hameen character is exactly what WWE needs, to be honest. Yeah, man, not in this PG era. There's no way that you could water down my character enough to be a terrorist mastermind and bring it back if they were clipping Muhammad Hassan for that shit, who will actually be facing tomorrow, if you're listening to this on Friday, at Dynasty Pro Wrestling in Amsterdam, New York. Infidels, Muhammad Hassan, Hacker Hameen, face-to-face.
I think he pretty much is the blueprint for that not going. I mean, that wasn't even a PG product when they took that off the air.
Right.
On SmackDown.
Right. Yeah, so the fact that if they're not going to bring back, and even what they try to do for some reason with the Greatest Royal Rumble with the Daivari brothers, and look at the heat that got them, so it's I like to play the hot button topic. I like to do that. I can play 1,000 characters. That's not a problem, as you've heard on Master Shoot Theater already. Was this week's WWE SmackDown able to draw more viewers than Raw's 2018 low? This week's SmackDown, coming off a Raw show which averaged the lowest amount of viewers for the show in 2018, was headlined by what was previously promoted as a dream match between Daniel Bryan and Samoa Joe. The match was changed to a triple threat match during the opening segment to include Big Cass, and then it turned into a nightmare match. And Joe ultimately won the bout to advance to Money in the Bank. According to the Showbuzz Daily, this week's SmackDown averaged 2.195 million viewers, which is the same number the show drew last week. SmackDown was unable to draw higher than Raw despite its low 2.494. So only 300,000 difference between Raw and SmackDown. I don't know if they've ever been that close before. But maybe going to Fox, they will. Maybe they'll have enough momentum behind them and Raw will be still on the downturn that they will cross streams at one point or another.
Fox would like that to happen because it still seems like SmackDown is considered to be the B show, which, my God, they've put that on TV before. Remember when they had the Under Siege or the other stuff, they said, we're not the B show, we're not this and that. And I was like, nobody thinks that you're rival brands. This whole brand separation is never going to. They're doing dual branded pay-per-views now, so the brand extension is basically dead. Mm-hmm. They just don't have guys going back and forth. But they may need that. Well, I wonder, now that they're on two different networks, do they have to segment these talents? Like, is there something that Fox says? Maybe Fox will say, we want this person from Raw. Mm-hmm. Where now you have network heads making talent decisions of who they want on their show. Is
there anybody from either show where, like, right now you're like, we want that guy on our show, like, that's making that big? Braun would be about the only one, because I would like to say that about Bobby Lashley, but they've already marginalized him, so I just don't see anybody sticking out. I was like, we need that guy.
Okay, think about how Walter, the drunk billionaire who pisses his pants at Fox, thinks.
Yeah.
Our daughter likes that big Jack Black guy. I want to see him. My daughter likes him. Dude, that's how these fuckers. Yeah. We talk to these morons. This is how they fucking think.
Yep, that is. It's true.
You think rich people have to be smart? They don't have to be smart.
No, usually they're second or third generation who had shit handed to them. So
these executives are basically a much more, if there is a way, a much more isolated in the bubble version of Vince. Otherwise, I'm not saying because I love the show, but they wouldn't cancel Gotham. They would say, we got to give it a few more seasons because it's gaining traction.
Right.
The people that like it are fucking fiercely loyal. We have to keep with it and keep making it better. And Gotham is an incredible show that they canceled. WWE has that fiercely loyal following that's never happy with the product, which doesn't make any sense. But they're not saying we have this loyal fan base, we need to make it better. Mm-hmm. And the network executives, I think, are just, somebody wants WWE to be their little plaything. I think the 5-year deal may lead to Fox saying, maybe we'll buy this thing. The Saudis, I thought, would have been in the running to buy it eventually, but maybe that's what Vince's exit strategy is too. I'm going to do the football thing, but maybe in the next 2 years, one or the other, or maybe both will come together because Saudis are involved with Fox, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Are Saudis just going to end up buying Fox out? Is that what it's going to be?
You never know. We have 5. Maybe we're going to be down to 3 by the time this deal's done. 3 conglomerates.
Could be. Somebody asked me in the chat, Ben, when did you drop the Arab accent? I didn't drop the Arab accent, infidels. This other voice is just the infidel character I do to make it more acceptable for you morons. This is actually my real voice.
I in the chat room too. These ratings are approaching Stevie Night Heat levels.
Oh, yeah.
We used to draw steady 1.1s and 1.2s.
That's strong
for a tape show.
Yeah, on the most off night, right? So
Sunday nights for an hour. By the way, that probably had a lot to do with it too.
Yeah,
it's not 3 hours long.
Yep. The latest on CM Punk versus Chris Amann trial. Amann's battle to prove damages, why he is emotionally distressed. He can give himself a, prescription for antidepressants. Day 2 of the trial features CM Punk versus Dr. Chris Amann, wrapped in a Cook County, Illinois courtroom on Wednesday, with Amann continuing testimony and being cross-examined by Punk's attorneys. According to Meltzer-Seltzer, Amann has been on the stand, and from a damages standpoint, the feeling is there are no damages Amann can tangibly claim. Amann admitted he has not lost his job based on the accusations made by Punk. He is not making less money because of what Punk said, and his friends do not treat him differently based on what Punk said. Amann's claims...
What? Say that again.
He said his friends do not treat him differently based on what Punk said. Amann's claim is that he is emotionally distressed by WWE fans at live events making fun of him when they see him, and people on social media aiming derogatory statements at him.
Okay.
The host notes that the real truth in the case is that CM Punk will either have real proof of staph infection diagnosis, which is what he claims was misdiagnosed by Amann, and we are essentially waiting to hear that information. If it is believed Punk is lying about the staph infection, the jury could stick it to Punk for lying about his condition. Meltzer and co-host Brian Alvarez point out that there has been no testimony made by Amann with regards to his health insurance premiums rising as a result of Punk's comments, which could be a point of victory with regards to Amann pursuing damages. The trial continues this week, and we will provide updates as they become available. Do your friends treat you differently now that you're on a podcast with me, or no?
The friends that work at WWE, maybe. Yeah, I can't really speak on that, but I will say, man, you talk about this is the dangerous part. So this precedent of what happens in this case is going to directly affect, or hopefully not affect, me, you, Russo, any podcaster out there. This is a bigger deal than people realize. Mm-hmm. Because if Amann wins this, and it sounds like, dude, Punk claimed he went to Florida, he went to AJ's doctor, had this thing cut out. The doctor said, you have MRSA. It's too detailed in my mind for Punk to make all this shit up.
That's not Punk either. That's not Punk to do that.
No, he doesn't try to get sympathy from people. He's not trying to do that.
No.
And he wasn't going on there. It didn't sound like the Amann's part of the interview, which is like probably, 2.5 hours long plus?
Yeah.
It may have taken, it was dipped here and there. So if you total the entire portion, and it was part of why Punk was worn down and Punk was disillusioned with the company because they didn't take care of him, would you say maybe 15 minutes out of that, dipping in and out, not straightforward, like from minute 1 to 15, did he bury Amann? And did he ever even say Amann's name more than once? I think
he said it once, but I don't think he went in like, F this guy, da-da-da. It was more of like him stooging off of how the McMahons or Hunter or whoever it was, of like, we're going to get the most, we don't like Punk, we're going to get the most out of him, and you're going to do this and you're going to do that, and we'll just keep riding them until this happens. And even, I don't think I don't know, would they go to the doctor and be like, play down what he has, we need to get him through this, that, and the other, and it was the shoot. But the weird part is to me that it's Amann going after Punk when they should know how Punk is and that he wouldn't do this kind of stuff unless he had the proof, unless he thought that he was right 100% of the time, and that he said, no, I'm not going to settle. I'll knuckle up with you. And the first 3 major points of contention for damages, on the stand, this guy said no. So as a jury member, I'd be like, if your insurance went up because of it, I wouldn't even come over the top and be like, oh, he suffered damages because of that. But
well, your insurance is going up every year anyway, and
right.
your insurance may have gone up because they needed an excuse to put your insurance premiums up. So maybe Punk can refund him on his premiums.
Yeah.
The difference. This is why I say it's a big deal. This is a big deal because anything that we say, like I have personal experiences with the training crew and the doctors at WWE when I worked there.
Sure.
And they're not good. And I was treated like a second or third or 100th class citizen because of my spot on the card.
Right.
And now I'm not naming names, but with me saying that, does that mean they can sue me? Because now I hurt their feelings. Well, you made me suffer plenty more by putting me on the back burner and not treating me when I needed it.
Well, that's my point too, is like, how is Punk not just right there with a countersuit of like, dude, I had to have a MRSA lump taken out because of your fucking politicking and because you wanted to beat me like the racehorse and all this, and you're worried about hurt feelings. Like this is the exact thing of the 2018.
Well, maybe that's what the problem, not problem. Maybe that's what the solution is for Punk. Let me make sure the truth comes out, and this guy looks like a liar, or he's exaggerating. Then I'm gonna fucking sue him.
Yeah.
Because with that basis, then he can turn around and say, okay, they've proven that it really happened to me. They've proven I went through this, and they've also, denied the claims that you've made. Now I'm gonna get mine.
But is it even really?
Vince will come with a big offer after that. I bet
right.
to try to settle.
But is that even really what it is? Is this about Dr. Amon? It's the fact that Punk went on Cabana's podcast, buried the office, buried the doctors, exposed business, exposed them for being scumbags, and their only recourse right now is like, we'll go after him for damages through the doc. It's not like the doc was like, oh, I'm really damaged, because he just said on the stand that the 3 main things he wasn't. So this further exposes that this is nothing more than a power play back at Punk, that they thought he might fold because of it. And like we said, when Punk thinks he's right and the man of conviction, he's going to stick through it to the end when you try and, put his balls in a vice. Now you're on the stand and you're going to lose, possibly. Yeah. I'm
going to finally get to the point I started.
Sorry, go ahead.
And I cut myself off. No, I cut myself off because I was trying to do my speculation as Meltzer so we can get the $11.
All right.
This is a huge deal for, I think, anybody that does a podcast that tries to recount a story, tries to tell their side of a story, and has any kind of experience with anybody. They could be negative. And when you basically, in an interview, a YouTube channel, a podcast, a radio show, if you say it and Amon wins, doesn't that open up the floodgates? Like, oh, you said I wasn't a nice person. Now my friends can't look at me the same way. Give me $1 million. It sounds insane, but that really, I think what could be at stake here is a precedent with this.
Am I going to be on the stand in 2019 saying, did you say girthquake? Fuck.
Dude,
I might have said
look
girthquake.
Look the world we're living in.
Yeah, I know. I'll pop on the stand.
Mental anguish. Say we do get the TV deal. Say we do get on TV and say it happens and people think money's rolling in. You don't think someone like her would look at that, or WWE? And say, oh, you want to make fun of us? Now we're going to fuck with you.
Yeah. Highly possible and probable.
You might want to edit that out. Might be giving some ideas. Were you thinking that too?
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, I'm really good on the barbecue, so I'd settle out of court. I just get some steaks and she can come over and I'll make her dinner.
She's on a high carb diet. I don't know if she's on keto.
We'll figure it out. I'm sure. I don't think she's going to turn down a meal. That's for sure. Somebody says, Bro Roacher, do you think the lawsuit was Amon's idea, or do you think he was told to sue by Vince? Yes, absolutely. The second one.
Speculating.
Yeah. We talked earlier about Luke Harper and his new video piece that they put out there, kind of a behind the scenes. That was a pretty cool piece. If you haven't checked it out, definitely do that, you guys. That was just in the news here. I didn't want to gloss over that again. Rusev on winning Money in the Bank. Rusev feels confident heading into Money in the Bank as he tweeted the following: winning this year's ladder match. This year, Money in the Bank has to be the heaviest in the history I'm going to win it. Happy Rusev Day. I don't get what that means, but who's your pick for Money in the Bank, Stevie? Who do you think?
Who the fuck is in it?
I got to go with.
Just got to go down the roster. Isn't it like 20 guys?
Yeah. I think it's got to be Joe or it's got to be Rusev, but I don't think they're going to put it on Rusev again, just based on the fact that you're not like what you talked about with Dianna. Keep your head down, keep your mouth shut, because. But then again, failing upwards, people have bitched, and then they get their heat, and then they get a bigger spot. So I got to go. I'm going to go with Joe, but it could be Rusev.
Well, if Joe, I don't know. His style, I always try to picture guys like when the music hits, are they, those are two bigger guys. So usually the guys that have won it are guys that run down to the ring real quick. It picks up the pace. And I'm not picking apart those two guys, but I'm just saying their entrance and the way they carry themselves to the ring. Now, they might not even think in that detail-oriented, trust me.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I would think. Like, how would we present them cashing it in over the course of next year? Because they take so long to get to the ring, both of them. I don't know.
Yeah, they're not runners either, though. Neither am I.
But I don't mean that as a dick. I just mean it's a very, it's a high energy situation when the cash in or potential cash in happens. So how are you going to do that? Who else is in it?
The Miz, one of the New Day members who is yet to be named. It could be one of those guys. Could be Big E. They've been on the push with that kind of stuff. I think it's time for Big E to become a higher level player as well. Can't think who the other dudes are, to be honest with you. Those four.
Is Baron Corbin in it?
Yeah, I think Baron Corbin's in it, and I don't think Drew McIntyre is. Yeah.
Is he?
No, I'm not sure if he is or not.
See, it would be too soon for him. He hasn't. But if they started building him from day one, it would have been interesting. Dude, he looks, out of anybody, you talk about a guy that has that. If you stood The Rock next to him, I bet you they're just as big as each other as far as muscularity and everything.
Right.
He's a big kid.
Yep. And now he's got the knowledge from that first time going out, then working indies and then getting over an Impact. So he's not coming in right out of developmental anymore. He knows what he needs to do. So I'm looking forward to seeing his future as well. But I'm going to stick with Joe.
That Big E is already over with the pancakes.
All right.
That's a unique situation because they're essentially a merch seller. They're money right now as a team.
Right.
I don't blame them for being a little bit careful in how they present breaking them up, unless they just don't know what the fuck they're doing and they just want to. We have 3 weeks, so we got to string it out or stretch it out. Who else is in it?
I could see Big E winning just for this because look at what they can do with a thing like the trombone and name it Francesca or get over pancakes. If they won Money in the Bank, that briefcase would become like a new member of the group. You know what I mean?
Right now, by the way.
What's that?
Big Sal's orgasm.
Oh, he loves it. He loves it. They would give it personification, the whole nine. Like they would get a lot more out of the briefcase than anybody else would. So do you want to do comedy with it for a year, or do you want to do Joe's a serious contender versus Brock? That's which one or two ways you got to go.
I would do it another way, and I would have. Because I'm thinking in terms of now, since we're in the TV rights era and we're in this TV, everything's driven to what the networks want. I would like to see Miz win it because they just got the new reality show.
That's probably possible too. I'd like to see Miz win it myself. I think he
deserves it.
Phenomenal performer.
Take away their chant from the commercial that they play every week, but he really once again got given that title for WrestleMania. Wasn't really. He was ready, but the way they presented him wasn't ready. But now you have that history back then, the show you have now. And, this is a guy who's been around and been somebody who's been there all the time, 100% of the time, and been a fucking utility player on everything. He's a guy that they should give it to and then let him run with it. and do all that stuff.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying there. I got to go with my Rip Rogers stuff on myself here. If guys need belts because they can't get over with character, Big E's got plenty of character. Miz does. That's why I might go with Joe, so he can get over a little bit more and have a little more stakes to him as well. So I think all three of those are solid ideas, possibly. And not saying that my psychology is always right, but that's what you want to do in a writer's room and on the whiteboard and have that up there, put those names up there with the pros and cons, who, what, when, where, and why, and where we can go long-term business, and what else do we have irons in the fire, like the Miz's show? Do we need that to help pump up things and promote that to make sure it's a hot ratings getter right out of the gate? All those things factor in. So interesting. Very, very good there.
Do you think, and now you keep stringing it along, but do you think just because this is Vince and keep getting in trouble with Vince talking about him, they're not calling me. I checked my messages just now. Do you think he's going to look at Joe after they write it all out and they say, this is what's going to happen. Joe's going to win. This is how we're going to move forward with it. And then Vince just shows up one day and goes, I don't want that guy. Like he's overweight. Like he all of a sudden discovers Joe's a big, heavyset guy.
Yeah, he just now realizes who he is.
Like he potentially did with Kevin Owens. We don't know if that's true or not, but it's like Vince. I told you the story about Balls Mahoney. Mm-hmm. He loved balls. That sounds weird, but he was pushing balls on ECW and everything, putting them with Kelly. Remember, they were doing some stuff with him. And then one day he was sitting by the tour buses outside reading a book, and he wears what he wears in the ring. He's balls 24/7. Vince McMahon walked right by and said, "Who the fuck is that fat fuck? Fire him." That's essentially what I heard. Not that day, but he was gone after that.
I mean,
he's insane.
Balls. Shout out balls. Miss your balls. How much money was USA offering WWE in a 10-year deal pitch? The latest edition of Observer has provided more insight into the major WWE deal with Fox, which will see SmackDown live on air network beginning October 2019. Quote says, WWE was very close to a 10-year deal with USA at $360 million a year, speculates Meltzer Seltzer, which is good money, and UFC was looking at $350 at 5 years. So $300 to $350 at 5 years. So 10-year deal as opposed to the 5-year deal and make that money, definitely better, I think, in the short term of how to play the market. So
a 5-year deal for $350 a year with this was USA.
That was for UFC. So $360 million a year for 10 was with the USA deal for $360 million a year, 10 years. So now SmackDown's getting $205 million a year for 5 years. So
no, what I'm asking is, what was it in relation to the UFC deal? UFC was
getting 5 years at $300 million to $350 a year.
So this is Fox, right?
No, USA. That's USA.
I almost think the UFC deal would have been better.
Could be. I mean, you're not going to get weekly programming though with UFC, are you?
It seems that way. The fight nights and everything are almost every week.
Yeah, Ultimate Fighter.
So WWE though right now with USA is a 5-year deal too for $205 per year. 205.
Yeah.
So they got $2 billion in TV rights, TV deals in for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Between the two.
Yeah. I just think 10 years seems like a long time to agree to something. You don't know. I think that'd be the deal breaker kind of.
But they did have with USA for the longest time. I mean, they have the longest working relationship with with USA. They did have something close to that the first time around.
But look at how the cable TV landscape has changed so rapidly. Who knows what it's going to be with home delivery download versus what they thought they could be doing advertising wise.
Do you think the company's even going to be around as a live television product in 5 years?
It's an interesting, thing to put out there, prospectus, but I don't know. Yeah, I think it will be in 5 years. Yeah, 10 years, tough to tell. Tough to tell.
Do you think we'll be talking about it in 5 years?
Let's hope not, please. Please
no,
don't.
I
Come on.
I hope we're talking to aliens in
I'll
5
say,
years.
come on, Planet X. Yeah. And in a last story that I got up here, backstage news on will Brock Lesnar will defend the WWE Universal title next. It's been rather unpredictable year concerning Brock and the WWE Universal title. While most assumed the Beast Incarnate would drop the title to Reigns at WrestleMania 34 shortly before his contract expired, he ended up signing a brand new deal, reportedly for a limited time solution only, and surprisingly retain the title back-to-back bouts with Reigns. Neither the title or its holder have been seen since the greatest Royal Rumble. According to Meltzer-Seltzer, Lesnar is not scheduled for WWE Extreme Rules on the 15th of July in Pittsburgh, New York. He is not scheduled, yeah. Right now, the current plan is for him to have main event SummerSlam on August 19th in Brooklyn, which means it's very likely we'll have at least 6 more weeks of WWE television without the Universal Champion on Monday Night Raw. This has been reported before, but if Lesnar plans to return to UFC before the end of the year, he has until June 30th at the very latest to re-enter the USADA testing pool, as he must test clean for 6 full months before being allowed to compete in the octagon again. I kind of like that Brock's not on and whoring out the title, and we got to see it every week, and it's got to be all based around this. The champ should be at the top of the mountain, and everybody should be having to climb the mountain to even get a look at the title, in my opinion. And he's legit, incredible, and Roman Reigns doesn't need it because he's getting the reaction. They like to put it on it. That would just deface the title for a lot of people. And why do you want to need that reaction when you can get it already without it? So will Brock go back to UFC? He looked like he was not on any prescriptions when the last couple times we saw him from WrestleMania and at the Greatest Royal Rumble. I think he is going to go back and fight, and that he probably is taking this time to start training hard to get ready for that.
What do you think his new deal is? I mean, it was supposed to only extend until he lost it. I thought it was only the speculation, once again, for $11 a month, is that he was only signing that extension to drop it at the Royal Rumble or like right after that on Raw. It was, but now it seems like, do you think that the deal expired and they need to redo it, and that's why he hasn't been back on it off him?
Say that one more time. You cut out real quick. The deal expired, and
do you think the deal expired and now they're like, oh shit, we got to figure out something, and they're kind of keeping him off TV till they figure out how they're gonna pay him to get it off him now? And he just said, well, I'm gonna start training anyway. It's nothing. I don't think it's anything like fuck you. It's like, I'm gonna start my training. You guys figure it out and call me and pay me.
Yeah, I think so too. And they like the prospect of him possibly going to UFC and having the title at the same time, winning and beating the shit out of somebody.
Remember I pitched that?
You absolutely did. You absolutely
I don't want to be the guy that said I told you so, but they'll never get more free exposure than that.
Nope. And they even had Dana at Ronda's debut and stuff, right? So some type of meeting went down there with, will you do good business for us if we do good business for you, credibility wise. And we've seen UFC become WWE. It's entertainment based now. It's not about Bowdy or Sensei go out and have the greatest fight and be that guy. Sure, there's going to be fighters and whatnot that are like that, but now it's about building heat before a fight, and Conor McGregor and Chael Sonnen are the guys to thank for that. And now you see Colby Covington getting over with that. And Brock is just an insane human being, physical specimen, and he can do both. And why not have him do both? So I think Vince might be, just letting it simmer right here to see what's going to happen. They may be needing to do the deal. I agree with you. But I would keep it on him, man. It makes your title credible. If you have a UFC champ and a WWE champ holding your titles, that shit is credibility to wrestling, and I think that's how it should be.
Do you think we might see the day where a WrestleMania or something like that is co-branded in a way with UFC, where you actually get a couple of UFC fights?
I don't think so, because that would stooge off how phony wrestling is too much to have them on the same show. Or maybe a weekend
where you have the UFC pay-per-view on Saturday night and you have WrestleMania on Sunday in the same town.
That I could see. Yeah, not a co-branded show, but like a weekend of super fight weekend, whatever you want to call it, right? Like that would be awesome. You know, you'd have, because they've got such a huge, especially imagine that if you had, well, to fight a UFC fight and then have to wrestle would suck. You could wrestle and then fight a UFC fight. I wouldn't do it the other way. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
if you know you're going to win really quick. I mean,
yeah, if you're gonna go.
well, I think it would be for that Access Week. You'd have so much exposure for your UFC fighters to sign and do, and you'd get a whole new set of eyes that would want to travel to New Orleans or whatever town it is for the week. Because now you have a week full of festivities with the octagons, with all the history of the legends. Sure. You have a Hall of Fame for UFC. You have a Hall of Fame night for them. It would be very interesting. The WWE doesn't need the money. And on the flip side of that, there are cities that are very resistant still to UFC and think it's a barbaric sport. So I don't think they would want they don't quite have the squeaky clean image.
Yeah, you'd have to go.
I thought I would never say that, the squeaky clean image of professional wrestling.
I think you'd have to go either New York City or Vegas there. That'd be, maybe you could do LA, but you got to go Vegas or New York City, in my opinion, if you're going to pull that off.
In New York anymore.
Yeah,
he's
right.
Banned for good, isn't he?
Yeah, he is banned for good. That doesn't mean you can't have somebody else pushed at that point to get over. Or you just have Connor show up and say, fuck it, bro, and do what he wants and be even more of a wild card and just let him get sued again, whatever. Pay it, you know.
Yeah, they're bankroll lawsuits apparently anyway. So.
Right. So interesting concept there as well. But when will we see Brock? How will he look at SummerSlam? And will he retain the title? I think he will. It'll be interesting to see if Samoa Joe does win that Money in the Bank, if they're going to wait. I want my WrestleMania moment. Like, that kind of pissed me off on SmackDown when Bocce Lynch and Charlotte were talking backstage, and she's looking off into the future, and she's like, look, I'll win the women's Money in the Bank. And then I see it, Asuka, Charlotte 2 at WrestleMania. I'm like, do you think we really care a month and a half removed from WrestleMania about waiting a full year to see you two? Like, just ridiculous. Of like, that they don't care about the title, they care about being in a semi-main event at WrestleMania, and chances are that would get put on first or second match anyway. So, like, you know, that build, that magic of the build of I'm going to WrestleMania and point to the sign, just ridiculous. Make it about the title, about the competition, about you being back at the top of the women's division instead of some other BS along those lines. So we'll see. Somebody asked, is Bocce Lynch related to Sasquatch? I think so, actually. We'll have to go back.
But she shows up.
She shows up. Yeah, we'll see if there's a Sasquatch sighting this weekend. I'm kind of anxious to see if he shows up at all. So, but yeah, man, that's your Friday veterans locker room infidels with Stevie Richards, Hacker Hameen here. It's been a good little production week. I'll be recording tomorrow the Impact Attack with Ray after watching tonight, and wrap up the week as I move on. Like I said, this weekend, Dynasty Pro Wrestling in Amsterdam, New York. Quick question. Someone says, does Stevie still coach Colby? We have a hand in creative things. And, Stevie coaches everybody is the answer to that one, man. He's our
I have a strong connection to the people in American Top Team. John Hartnett is one of my closest friends. He manages American Top Team. Colby and me, I consider him to be a friend. I didn't know him too well, say, a year ago, but John, obviously, him and John are tight. John and me are tight. So just by association, getting to know each other. And he doesn't need it, but he sometimes will ask for a sounding board about certain things. And Colby's a young guy. Even though he's got a ton and a wealth of experience athletically, this is still all new stuff to him. So it's good that he can reach out and hey, if I was there, I'd be working out right alongside him, trying to learn the art as well. I like training in MMA, and there's been actually, not anymore. I think being a conspiracy theorist is a lot safer. That's something than wanting to be an MMA fighter at 46, 47 years old. But I've always dreamed of having one MMA fight. So that still could be a reality before I'm 50.
Yeah, if you come up in weight class, I'll fight you.
No, I was gonna say all I gotta do is just fucking wrestle Guido in a fake wrestling match, and I'm ready for anybody.
That's right, man. You tap, snap, or nap, one of the three there. But yeah, I didn't want to stooge off, how much involvement Horsemen have with him, but John Hartnett is great, resource for us, and always reaching out, a great follower of the Conspiracy Horsemen, and in the same mindset. We love having that relationship, and when a lot of people were stooging it off of like, oh, Colby's trying to do pro wrestling shit, or Tyron Woodley's like, he's got a whole team of writers and shit like that. Just like, sit back, shut the fuck up. Could have easily come over the top there, but we don't need to.
Way to cost yourself some money, Woodley.
Yeah, exactly. Moron. And we'll keep advising whoever wants it. And the fact that, I'm not going to say because of the things that we help out with, Covington's got this shot, but he listens and he executes. And now he's on UFC 225 because he knows UFC wants entertainment as much as they want well-seasoned athletes who can get it done in the ring there. So shout out to him. I hope all the best for him. UFC's actually here June 1st in my backyard, so might try and get on over there and check that out. And what is it the 9th, or is it the weekend after? I think that 225 is in Chicago. So I'm hoping he kicks some ass and cuts an awesome promo afterwards. But Stevie, tell them where they can find you. What's going on, man?
Well, you can go to StevieRichardsFitness.com, the 12-week resistance band training program. It's still getting great results. Big Ray is there. Lisa Torch just posted her transformation pictures on Throwback Thursday, where we're recording today. Lots of other people are really doing great with that, and really happy to be partnered up with Matt from Dynapro Direct. That's the bands and everything. Their customer service is really second to none. They've already done some swaps out on some things where always going to have stuff that's missing or it might not be up to par, but they swap it right out. Like, you keep what you have, don't worry about sending it back, and there's a lifetime warranty on all their products, which is really, really cool. So go to StevieRichardsFitness.com. Also subscribe to the YouTube channel, putting up free fitness and also free nutrition stuff. I started putting up more of that stuff over the weekend. I just put up a thing for a keto snack called Choc Zero. Really good chocolate snacks. Got those, and also free hip workout. Just one up tonight. God, it feels like I've been podcasted 2 nights this week. I just put that up a little while ago, so check that out. Go to StevieRichardsFitness.com, click on the YouTube, or follow me at Instagram at Stevie Richards, because in the Instagram stories I put swipe up to watch and subscribe to the videos, so you can just do it very easily through there. Also follow me at BWO Stevie on Twitter, and also ProWrestlingTees.com/Stevie Richards. This Saturday I will be at Wildcat Wrestling. I always forget to promote myself somehow. June 2nd, I'll be at the ECW Arena. I'm actually flying in tomorrow to do some media stuff and, reconnect with some people I grew up with in Philly. So follow me at Stevie Richards on Instagram. I'll be doing some live videos from Philly.
Awesome, man. I hope you have a great show, though, or go over strong. You don't have to face anybody like Nunzio, who's going to take liberties on you in the ring, man, so. And you have a good time with Big Sal. What's that, bud?
I say he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, and so am I. So, like I said, Dynasty this weekend, Upstate Pro Wrestling in Rochester next weekend. The following, the 15th, I'm doing Ha 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 Mean, then taking one of the wives on a trip up to Maine there. So, looking forward to going up there, get away, and recover for a couple days. And I'll be back on a big Canadian tour. I just got booked at Bordertown Wrestling in Fort Erie for the 23rd. The 24th, I'll be at Crossfire Wrestling in Welland, Ontario. Then the 25th, I think I'm going to be in Toronto working this show at a synagogue, which was a fun time for the Megan brothers. And then at the end of the month, Conspiracy Horsemen reunited. Infidels, that's right, coming back to Rome, New York for our tag team championships at Dynasty. No one will take them from us. Going over strong, going to be doing some fun stuff together. Looking forward to being with all my brothers in full strength. So y'all law infidels, it's your Friday locker room, Hacker Hameen. That's right, you're not going to win in a court case against us, so don't even try and do any litigation, because I'll tear up your files and shred them right in front of your face and kick your fat ass out of my locker room. So y'all law infidels, take yourself, hide and run. It's Hacker Hameen, Stevie Richards, heels over strong. Ha 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 ha.